Brought to you by Williams. We make clean energy happen.
I think the next thing for us is really creating a bank and bringing back the Black Wall Street in a sense, because that was so powerful.
I'm Casey Finey, and this is Creative Control. Each month, I'll be interviewing your favorite celebrities and creators to unpack what's at the intersection of creativity, business, and brand building. In this episode, a conversation with WNBA star Jewell Loyd. Jewell Loyd is one of the most celebrated stars in women's basketball. She's a two-time WNBA champion, two-time Olympic gold medalist, six-time WNBA All-Star, and that's just some of her accolades. But Jewell's extending her legacy beyond basketball, namely with Loyd Co, a financial services company she co-founded with her brother that's aimed at ensuring underserved groups have the access to capital and resources they need. In our conversation, Jewell takes us on her journey to starting Loyd Co, the impact that they've seen so far, and her rather bold plan of starting a bank with a soul. But to start, I asked someone who is so ambitious on and off the court what laid the foundation in her becoming who she is today.
Well, that's a great question to start the show with. I think a lot of times when I'm looking at how I got to where I'm at and why and what motivated me, it has to be because of my parents. And I always looked at my mom, who is super strong, has a crazy inspirational story from, growing up in the South and seeing what she was able to do. And looking at her career, she worked in corporate America for a long time. She was a teacher and she's worked in other fields of government as well. And she's kind of done it all. And seeing how she was always there, always kind of was still very active in our lives as a mom. And then seeing how my dad used sports as an outlet, to see how he was super athletic. And I kind of looked at them and I said, well, why can't I do both? Why do I have to choose one or the other? Can I just morph them together? And so learning a lot from my mom, learning a lot from my dad, well, I'm really good at both. So I feel like, why limit myself? And I'm going to learn a lot about what my mom does and how she's, entrepreneur. And then same with my dad in sports and his job as well. So I kind of just morphed the two together. So I credit that a lot to my parents and obviously my environment as well. But I was always the kid that believed that I could do whatever I wanted to if I just tried it. I never was intimidated by the circumstances. I always just believed if I put my full effort towards something, that it's going to work out.
Right. And so when did basketball itself come into the picture for you? Because I think I read somewhere that, you started playing tennis. That was the first sport that you, I think, really gravitated to. So how do we know you as Jewell Loyd, all-star athlete, basketball athlete, and not, tennis star Jewell Loyd?
If you ask anyone growing up, they know me as a tennis star. They will definitely reference that a lot.
I played tennis too growing up. So yeah,
it is.
I get it.
Yeah, it's something that it kind of never leaves. And I grew up playing tennis. My dad was my tennis coach and he grew up playing tennis. And
same, actually.
It's just kind of, he randomly found he was playing basketball. Some guys hey, we need someone else to play tennis. My dad's I don't play tennis at all. And guys no, we'll teach you real quick. And he's an athlete and ended up just playing, and those been his tennis partners for years, great friends. But having that, and my dad really believed that he had a tennis star in his hands, and that was the first sport I played was tennis, and I loved it. It was a daily thing, a weekly thing. I played in high school. I always tell my friends I never went to state for basketball, only for tennis. Having the love for tennis was awesome. I'm glad that was my first sport because it taught me so much. I mean, the game of tennis is so mental, and you're by yourself and you're traveling. And, as a kid, you kind of go through so many different emotions because you're still learning how to, handle your emotions. And tennis brings out so many different things at different times. And I still love it. I still play from time to time. My dad's still a tennis coach now, and my family all plays tennis still. And, there's a little pickleball in there as well. But tennis really kind of shaped my love for sports, but also just the competition. And I think that helps a lot with, as you kind of go further in life.
Mm-hmm. So then where did basketball come in for you?
Honestly, if my brother didn't play basketball, I probably would have played basketball because I was just following him around. I was that annoying little sister.
Shout out to Jared.
Yeah, exactly. Jared was he hated bringing me to the park. He hated me he just did not like that at all. I was always someone please take me. And watching him, almost every single day at the park and seeing him play with his friends and then my friends and we always kind of just bonded through team sports. And that's something that you don't always have when you're playing tennis. Yes, you can play doubles. And at the time I was playing singles all the way through. So it really was just me and my dad playing in training. So basketball was like, this is so much more refreshing. I'm with my friends, we all play. I'm watching my brother play, and he went to Niles West, and they had such an amazing high school run. And so all my friends and I would just watch them. It was like watching the Bulls. You know, it was like, this is unbelievable. Like, these guys are so cool. Like, I thought it was so fascinating, the game of basketball. And so I played as much as I can with all my friends. And then I just kind of really fell in love with it. I love the team aspect of it. Loved it. And that's where like it took me, and knowing I could, I wasn't out there by myself.
You know, that's so funny. That's exactly why I hated basketball.
Yeah.
Because my thing is that, like, I was that type of person that hated group assignments and team things because, like, I feel like I will put my, like, 150% into it. And knowing that that is not always the case with everybody else, that would drive me crazy. So I know that, because I played basketball too, but tennis was my sport that I really stuck with because it was just me. Because if I messed up, then I knew it was on me. If, there's no one else to blame but me. And so that's so funny that, I think you have a better outlook on it than I do. I think
it's both, you kind of feel that too. It's funny because my brother had that same look. He's like, because he played a little tennis, he ended up playing basketball, but he's like, I'd rather just be playing tennis, like I know that I can get my assists myself. Like, he's like, I get it. I love playing with my team, but like, I want the responsibility. I was like, yeah, and I love to spread that out. Like, I'm the opposite, but that's also why we're really good business partners together too. But yeah, no, I definitely understand your perspective as well.
Yeah. And I'm curious, I mean, because your career in the WNBA, I mean, at Notre Dame as well, but, in the WNBA specifically is incredibly remarkable. I mean, I don't need to read off your stats to you, but I'm curious to hear, like, I mean, what to you stands out about your career so far? I mean, obviously you have many, many years left to play, but I mean, like, at this point right now, like, what stands out to you about your career?
I personally don't think I've changed in sense of just like the entitlement or the wanting to be more. I've never thrived to crave that feeling. That's not why I play the game. That's not why, I even wanted to play sports or, start a business. It's not for the recognition, and that's never changed. And I'm really proud of that because it's easy to. The league is changing, and I've been in great situations and won a lot and lost a lot, and it's been bitter and sweet. And I don't think I've ever changed. I think I'm still the same person. And sometimes when people do read off everything I've done in my career, I'm like, that's the same for like that's me. It's kind of like, whoa, because I don't really take pride in that. It's awesome. And that just comes from all the hard work that you put in. And you have goals, you have aspirations, and you definitely should always have those. But that's not what really drives me. I really just want to play for the love of the game and play the game the right way. And that's always kind of been why I had the career I've had, but also why I've enjoyed it so much.
Definitely. And I'd love to shift gears and talk about your work off the court with Loyd Co, because this is such a really impressive company that you've built with your brother. And so I'd love for you to explain what Loyd Co is.
Yeah, Loyd Co came about from literally just a conversation with my brother. He's always kind of been the financial guy, and he loves numbers, and he's kind of been the guy I kind of brainstorm with, and all the ideas from Loyd Co kind of just come about from real life, I guess, interactions, whether it's going to a bank and not being able to get a loan. I had that for first time, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. This happens to more people.
That's wild.
Like, like I'm young trying to buy a house and going back and forth with this guy. And I'm like, Jared, there has to be a solution to this. Like, how can we help people who don't have XYZ, get a loan? And it's like, okay, well, let's try to figure it out. So basically, Loyd Co, it's really just a pipeline. It's a pipeline of things to help us figure out how to, one, really create generational wealth for people. But also with that generational wealth and with all the investments, is education. I think it's really easy to give someone $1 million, but it's really hard to give them $1 million and educate them on what to do with it. And so having Loyd Co is really just that. It's like we have hedge funds, we have education, we have all the things, but our biggest thing is trying to implement the education behind it. Because as much as I'm so passionate and we're so passionate about building the generational wealth, you can't build it if you don't know how to do it and do it correctly. And so that was really our passion. It's like, how do we change the narrative? How do we bridge the gap? How do we encourage and not make people feel like they can't do it because they're scared to understand what finance is, right? I mean, you say finance, some people are like, definitely in the, Black and brown communities, it's like, because it's been taken away, it's been scrutinized a different way. It's been trauma.
Absolutely.
Trauma behind it. And so when you have something that's so heavy and it's trauma behind it, like how do you break that narrative so it's not trauma, that is joy, that is hopeful, that it's, allows people to chase their dreams. And then that's kind of the whole idea behind Loyd Co. And it's been really cool to see the changes that we've been able to see in people's lives and mindset. And we're just growing on it. We're building on it. And so we're really big on in everything that we do, but just, our farm, our Smoothie King, our pickleball investments. We're very diversified in a lot of things that we do throughout Loyd Co. But the premise is really trying to inspire hope, education, and continue a legacy of just knowledge getting passed on from generation to generation.
And I definitely want to talk about, the organic farm and the Smoothie King and everything that you got going on. However, I would love for you to touch on the different, because you've made through Loyd Co, you've made some really interesting acquisitions and partnerships. And so I'd love it if you can just sort of walk through some of those to help people who may not have heard of Loyd Co get a better understanding of all the areas that you're really touching.
Most recently, we just acquired Help With My Loans. And like I said, it came about legit from me I was so excited to buy my first house. I'm going through the process, and then it was like access denied. And I was like, whoa.
Which is wild, because this is as you were a WNBA star, right?
Yes, like I
crazy.
Legit have enough. I say this to give the whole story. Like I could literally buy this house in cash. And so I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. Not financially, that's not smart, whatever. And I'm like, looking at the guy, I'm like, look, I have this. I have like my rep. I just played overseas. I did this and showing all the numbers. Everything's like on paper correct. And he's like, no. I'm like, what do you mean no? I can't get something that I've always ended up having. And I left that meeting like, this can't keep going. We need to find a way to help people, one, understand like the loaning system and lending, but also there has to be banks out there that want to work with, but not people just based on their credit. Like there has to be something else. Like credit is so fluctuated on just so many things that's so frustrating. That's a whole nother podcast we could talk about, but I was like, we can't do this. So we researched and we looked up so many different companies. And we met with the people from Loyd from Help With My Loans, and their ethos just matched ours. And we saw what they were doing, and the guys they worked in banking systems. They were frustrated with the banking systems, and so now what's really cool about Help With My Loans is that it's ran by like our AI, so it's quicker, it's faster, it's more efficient, and there's not a bank that we work with that will say no to someone. Whatever your requirements are and whatever you needed, we'll find something that will work with you. And I love that because why? Why is someone saying no all the time? There's too much resources, too many great things in the world for someone to just say no and you give up. And we want to help people understand that you want to chase your dreams. Like we're going to help you do that in a way that is not seeming, it doesn't see your race. It doesn't see who you are. It just sees you as a hardworking person, right? And so based on that, it's been unbelievable. We've saved trucking companies, daycares. People are able to start their dreams, continue their dreams, pass down their legacy family businesses to the next, their kids. And that's not always the case. There's people who have been crying to us, like, we couldn't get a loan to start this. And so like now we're just helping more people. And it's just been really cool to just really see the impact. And like just a small, I'm not gonna say a small thing that could change so many, but having a personal story to that and understanding you can connect and relate to people gives you some empathy. And I think a lot of times definitely in the financial world, people kind of lose that empathy and they start doing it for other reasons. And so when someone's going through it, when you've seen it firsthand, you understand that it really does impact way more than just the day-to-day life.
Right.
It's the mindset. And so we're trying to combine all that into Help With My Loans, which has been awesome. And I'm really proud of that one for sure.
And you mentioned using AI, and that's just to help process like the loans, right?
Yeah, I mean, so basically, if you go to a bank, you get the lending. Sometimes it takes 30 to 90 days.
Sure.
Right, and that's a lot could happen in those 39 days. Like even for our acquisition, like our guy who was working on the deal ended up going on vacation. So it's like this guy goes on vacation now. It's more than 90 days, and it gets a lot of paperwork. For our AI system, basically within 3 to 5 minutes, you find something. So it's saving you time, it's saving you effort, less paperwork, it's quicker. It's more efficient. And then you want to be efficient with people's time. You want to be efficient with people's money. If it could shrink down from 9 days, 60 days, 90 days to 3 to 5 minutes, but then a day, you know exactly what you're going to get and you could move exactly accordingly. that's really good.
Yeah. And so how would you say you're building trust with the demographic that you're targeting with Loyd Co? Because you're talking about financial services, which, as you mentioned, can be very daunting to a lot of people. And, of course, you're certainly not the only financial service using AI in its processes, but I think a lot of people have skepticism because we face
Oh, for
a
sure.
lot of discrimination within AI as well. So it's you're obviously trying to shift communities in a positive direction, through financial services, through technology. But how are you building the trust to make sure that people that you're trying to reach, you actually reach, and they can actually know that they can, trust you and your company?
That's the biggest thing that we looked at the moment we kind of started Loyd Co.
Mhm.
I asked my brother, like, why would people listen to two young Black people who haven't done really anything? We're not big names in the financial world. We're just two kids trying to like help our family. And people are coming to ask us for questions. And we're like, who are we? Right? Like, what's our backing? Right? Like, yeah, I'm a college dropout. Like, why would they, it's like all these things. And we're just like, why would
You're a little bit more than just a college dropout.
no, but yeah, but if you take the basketball away, the real world, it's like, who are
Right,
we?
right.
Right? Like, we're just the last name and add code to it. Like, it's like, what does that mean? But I really think that our passion for it and our ethos align with a lot of people because we are just, in our eyes, we're just regular people trying to figure this stuff out together. We're not here to make money. We're not here to just, hey, like, we're not approaching people. Like, people, they find us. And I say that in the most random, like, it's just random. And we're just like, we have to be in the right field and we have to be, some higher power has put us here to do something.
Huh.
And we're going to take that and we're going to take every day and understand that. And we're generally sharing our stories, our family stories, our history, our passion. And if that lines up with what you guys want to do and you believe us, then let's go. And on top of that, we do have the backing. We do have the history. We do have the portfolio. We do have all these things that, Morgan Stanley, everyone else has. We have that. So on top of us being, aligned with our ethos and moving a different way, we do have the numbers to back it up. And like I said, we do everything family style. We're not a big thing and we don't want to be a big market. Like we don't want to be this big, we want to make sure that everything we do is based on family and family first and how to help that. And I think that's a different approach to finance, to be quite honest. Just a different mindset, and it's been really cool. And like I said, everyone who works with us, who comes and works with the Help My Loans or helps at the farm, they're just great humans. They're great humans with great hearts.
We'll hear more from Jewell Loyd after this quick break.
As affordable, reliable energy demand increases at historic rates, one company is uniquely positioned to accelerate America forward: Williams. We have 117 years of know-how in powering progress, and we're ready to power the next 100 years of innovation. Learn how our natural gas infrastructure is critical to the future of AI at williams.com.
And we're back with my conversation with WNBA star Jewell Loyd. There is so much more to unpack with Jewell about the financial services company that she started with her brother, and we'll certainly get into that in a moment. But you may have caught earlier in this interview that one of Jewell's investments includes a farm, and I just couldn't let that slide without hearing more.
Honestly, like I said before, I come up with an idea. I call my brother. I said, can we do this? Does this make sense?
Can we get
He's
a farm?
like, why do you want a farm? I'm like, well, how many people do you know have a farm? He's like, no one. I said, okay, like how many times is farms like can you buy a farm? He's like, well, they don't really go on sale very often. I think it's like almost like 100 years before they go on sale. It's something a crazy stat
Right.
like that. I said, okay. I'm like, how many Black people own a farm? And now it's even less. I'm like, how many Black women own a farm? It's like, that's even less. I said, okay, let's do it. Just like that. It really is. And we looked at different farms and where they were. And our brother lives in Minnesota. And we have the farm in Minnesota. It's 160 acres. And we have also real estate on it as well. So we have people who live there as well. And land is not, we don't have any much more of it. Right. So let's capture it. Let's get it. And I'm also really passionate about it because I know historically we lost a lot of land.
Yes.
So I want it back. And so, but I also know that it's a farm. So I'm learning too, about farm life and understanding how important it is and food. And as the world gets bigger, people are growing and the families are like, we need food. So I understand that. And so the things that I want to involve in are things that I think it could help, not just me, but benefit a lot of people. Food, water, land, those things are very important. And understanding how to do that and grow it and learn and that land could get passed on to my niece and nephew and my family. And that's something my family never had. They worked on farms, they grew up on farms, but it wasn't theirs.
Yeah.
And so that was very important for me to get back and own that and understand it. And it's been really cool to see, man. Like, I'm learning so much. And mind you, we're from Chicago. We didn't grow up on a farm. You know, like, we're not, my brother doesn't do any manual labor on the farm. You know, like, he's not that, like, but like, I'm so intrigued with it, and knowing the workers there and getting to know the community around it has been really awesome to see that. And it's making a difference. You know, it's making a change. And that's something that whatever I do, if I get those two things are in line, I'm going to be involved in it. But yeah, it's random. I'm not going to lie to you. It's random. It's not like, wasn't in my cards. It wasn't like on a Christmas card or a wish list. But at the time, it made sense. And I've been, I'm looking for more land too. So if you know any of recommendations, let me know.
I'll keep you posted. I'll have my land people call your land people. But I mean, which has been the biggest learning curve for you, the farm or financial services?
Honestly, probably the farm, because there's so many things. Understanding, like, depending on the weather and the soil, you got to rotate the crops, and starting, learning about the vendors and the people, and it's a real day-to-day job. You can't, financial. Sometimes you could put something in there and walk away and check on it in a month and see how it's doing and be good. You can't do that with the farm. You got to be constantly active with it. I'm understanding it's not just based on all the time what you do to it. It's about the environment as well.
Right.
So that's been important. So I've been learning a lot, which I'm still learning. I'm having books on it. I'm going to the farm, checking it out, but it's been really awesome because I like learning things that are new, and that's definitely new. Let me tell you.
I love that. So, I'm curious, going back to Loyd Co for a second, because there's certainly quite a few financial services companies that are aiming to do what you're doing, like servicing marginalized communities, like trying to build generational wealth. Like, that's a topic that has absolutely come into the foreground over the past couple of years. And so for you, do you see yourself with Loyd Co filling a specific gap in the market, or is it more about contributing to the larger mission of financial empowerment?
I believe it's both. My brother and I always say you could hit a lot of singles, and every once in a while you could hit some home runs. And sometimes people only focus on the home runs, and that's all they want to hit, the big ones. But the little impacts of getting everyone on base, you could bring in a lot more runs that way. And so that's how we look at what we're doing at Loyd Co. So we want to hit small things as well. We hit the local, grocery store and help them out. We're also going to go and, get bigger financial advisors and investments to help us build our shares and all the other things that we're doing, our hedge funds. And those are the big ones. But I think the little ones add up. And people kind of forget about that. Just like the little people, they add up. The person that you see, take out your trash, that person matters. That person. So that's how we look at it, is that we're not just one thing.
Yeah.
We can be more great. And we want to be great at everything, but we want to hit a lot of singles, but you also want to hit some home runs. But we're focused on the singles and doubles to get more value.
And I'm curious, you kind of touched on this a little bit here and there, but I'd love it if you can just give some of those real world examples of the impact that you've seen since starting Loyd Co, like with these people that are coming to you for these services.
The first one for sure is when we partnered with the Male Mogul program. They've been phenomenal in Chicago. And it's at first a lot of men who had different stories, different journeys, whether high school or they've been in different situations. And so, finding a job that they love and are passionate about has been tough. And so we partnered with them because, one, Walter Mendenhall has done a phenomenal job. He went to high school with my brother, so we've known him for many, many years. But we could bridge the gap in Chicago, or really anywhere, but mainly Chicago, since we're there, of male men or kids to work, we can really bridge that gap. And we can inspire them at a young age, whether they're in, 18 or 23, 26, to work. And so seeing them come into a space that necessarily is not always looking for that demographic to work. They come in with a smile on their face. They're excited. They're learning about financial stuff. We've seen, I think 4 of them have now owned their own homes. They're in real estate now. They're understanding that. So now they have things to pass on for their kids and their family. 4 years ago, they had nothing. So they're learning a whole different understanding of just how the world works and how they can leave their impact. We've seen a trucking company come in who is about to lose everything. And he has a family, and they're saying, I have nothing left, can't get a loan. We've had this company for 25 years. We're going to lose it if we don't get this amount of money. Hearing those stories hits different because you're like, man, like, you've been working your butt off for 25 years. It's been passed down, and this is your livelihood. Like, this is not just, I'm losing $5. You're losing your dream. And to me, when someone's losing their dream, I hate that. Because I think personally, like, at some point, adults forget to dream. They stop dreaming.
Yeah.
And so if we can help people continue their dream by helping them find their loan or helping them get better lenders to continue their dream, that's what we do. So the trucking guy, now he's been up and running. He sends us letters all the time. Like, thank you so much. Like now that now we're friends, it's like, and we're not just helping people and like, we want to make sure like they're good too, because we care, and these stories hit home. And I've seen my dad lose his company, right? So like, I know what it is. I know what it is to be in a household where your dad loses their company and what it feels like, and to see your dad down like that. I know what it feels like. So those are the few stories of like, we're impacting the next generation of helping them understand, and they're building their lives and they're happy. Like, I just bought a car for the first time, and they're like, I don't got to take the bus anymore. You're like, man, like, I never thought about that. It's like we're impacting that, but then we're also impacting the people who've been around for 25 years for the business, and seeing like what that impacts as well. So like I said, it's a lot of singles, but sometimes you hit that home run and it feels really good to help both.
For sure. And how are you thinking about growing Loyd Co? Because it's still a very new company, but it sounds like there's been a lot of success and a lot of impact that you've had out of the gate. But I'm just curious, like, what does the 5-year plan look like? Are there other acquisitions that you're considering to grow the services that you provide? Like, what is sort of let's say the 5-year growth plan for Loyd Co?
If my brother was on this podcast, he would be drooling at the mouth. He's been waiting to share this story for so long. For us, we have so many different pipelines. If we look, like we said, we have hedge funds, we have crypto, we have, we have our shares, we have the Loyd Co. So you're looking at all the pipelines. So like, where do you go with all the pipelines? How do you necessarily put it at one place in one spot? I think the next thing for us is really creating a bank and bringing back the Black Wall Street, in a sense, because that was so powerful. I think that's where you have to go, is understanding the banking system, because so many things evolve. We talk about evolving, right? The WNBA is evolving, people evolving. Like, I feel like the banking system hasn't evolved yet. It's still outdated, right? Like, I think the school system hasn't evolved yet. It's still a little outdated. So certain things have, allow the teacher. We can talk about that one too, right? Like, they haven't evolved. So I think having a bank that's new and fresh with all these pipelines, that's where we put everything in that. And that's where we hone everything. And so now the aspect of Loyd Co. being just me and my brother, now we're able to really build it out. And you might be like, well, isn't that mainstream? Isn't that what everyone's doing? No, they're not, because they're not serving everybody. They're not giving everyone a fair chance. They're not educating people the right way. They're not helping athletes the right way. It's not the same. And mind you, that's just how it's always been. We've learned so much from everyone, all the banks, all the people. Like, we have great mentors that don't work with us, that have worked in, XYZ, and have been great mentors. But the thing that always I notice when I'm talking to the financial people, it's like they miss the soul of it. And money can kind of take that away from you. It makes you hungry for something different. It takes the joy out of life and being present, and it makes you just hungry, and you can never get enough of it. So that it takes you to different places where you can't get yourself out of. And with Loyd Co. and our bank, it's the soul is there. Behind that soul, it's different. There's a heartbeat. So we're bringing that heartbeat in life back to banking. And that's what our 5-year plan looks like.
I don't think anybody has attempted to bring a soul into a bank. Jewell, you found your lane. They always say look for the white space. And I don't think anybody has put it quite like that. That is, wow. Okay. And I'm guessing this would probably be like a neobank, like online, or do you see like physical locations?
I believe that we'll have a location at some point, but I believe that the building doesn't make the soul. It's the people, right? So we talk about people a lot, and that's something that I constantly talk about, whether it's on my podcast, The Warehouse, or with my friends. It's like, it's the people. You got to value the people, and that's where you'll feel the soul. If you value anything else, it's going to vanish. People are tangible. People are here. They need that energy, lifeline. So I'll let you know in 5 years in our next location. I'll let you know, but that's the plan.
Listen, I might just switch. I'm just saying, like, I'll take a look at what these terms are and these whatnot. I'm invested. So I find it interesting because one thing that I noticed when I was clicking around on the site is that your presence on Loyd Co. is very understated. Like, if somebody stumbled across it, they might not even know that it was co-founded by a WNBA star. And I don't even think they have on your site and like in the bio anything about your basketball career. So was that a deliberate choice? Like, what was the thinking about staying in the background rather front and center when it very well could be an added bonus to getting eyes on this company?
I've never been the one who wants to be the face of something. It happens organically. It's great. I've always kind of been just like, like, we're just going to do it. And people find out, it's great, right? But if you're coming there because I own it, the ethos is a little weird to me. I want you to be a part of something because you believe in it, because you're inspired by it, that you want to, grow XYZ. I don't want you to just come there because I'm smiling and waving, right? So I'm very, very strategic on how we market things, how we do things, who we work with, because you're there for me. Thank you, but this is not a meet and greet. We're doing impactful work here. And so it's never been about me. I don't ever want it to be about me. It has to be about all of us, because that's how we go places. So it's there for the business, for the work. Focus on that. And then when you come to our building in 5 years, you can shake my hand when I'm there and saying hi, checking in on you. But, the original start is focus on the work and let that impact you and inspire you to do great things.
That's going to do it for this episode of Creative Control. As always, make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. And don't be afraid to leave a comment or two, because it's always nice to hear from you. Creative Control is part of the Fast Company Podcast Network. Our show is produced and edited by Blake Odom with help from Avery Miles, Sam Gabauer, and Hawa Atori. Mix and sound design is by Nicholas Torres, and our executive producer is Josh Christensen. Again, be sure to subscribe to Creative Control on your platform of choice, and I'll see you soon.